Guten Tag, ihr lieben Musiker. Mein Name ist Pumah und herzlich willkommen zurück. Also, dieses Video wird mal was anderes sein, deswegen werde ich jetzt noch nicht so viel dazu sagen. Das Einzige, was ihr für dieses Video braucht, sind halbwegs gute Englischkenntnisse, ein gutes Gehör und ein klein wenig Zeit. Na dann, hoffe ich, ihr habt Spaß und ich melde mich nachher nochmal. Grim Fairy Tale. Jason the Toymaker asks Rita. 1. Clint tapped his fingers on the steering wheel as he hummed along to Walking on a Dream by Empire of the Sun. He was on his way back home after going on a weekend-long hunting trip with his buddies Phil and Neil. Clint glanced at the clock on the dash of the truck. It was 6 in the morning. Because of how far away he was from home, he estimated he would be home by 10 in the morning. That is, if the snowstorm kept persisting. He then glanced at the passenger seat, where a 16-inch waxen doll was sitting upright. He smiled at it, thinking of his daughter, reacting to the doll that he had found. Clint had found the doll outside the cabin on the first day that he had arrived. It was at the base of a tree at the edge of the forest, laying prostrate. Clint couldn't help but to pick it up and inspect it, not expecting his inspections to turn into gawking. The doll was of a male with blood-red, realistic-looking and feeling hair and deep, realistic green eyes. Its facial features were incredible, making it look almost real. The doll was adorned in Victorian-looking garb, of which felt like it was made with high-quality cloth. What caught Clint's attention were small chips on the doll's nose and left cheek. Embedded in the chips was dirt. Clint assumes someone threw the doll at a tree. He wondered why anyone would do such a thing to such a wonderful, detailed toy. He questioned Phil and Neil about the doll, whether it was theirs or not. They said it wasn't. Clint thought immediately of his daughter, and he decided he would bring the doll back home to her. He felt instinctively that she would love it. How long will I have to keep my eyes closed? First name questioned, waiting for the surprise her father had brought back for her. Hold out your hands, he said with a happy tone. First name obeyed, and she felt something heavy. She felt cloth. She felt it a little with her fingertips lightly. She ran one fingertip across the smooth surface. It felt waxy. Open, her father said. She opened her eyes, only to look them into a pair of deep green ones. She blinked a few times, processing what she was looking at. After some time, she realized it was a doll. A frighteningly realistic doll. Her plump lips parted as she was preparing to speak, but she couldn't quite figure out what to say. Well, her father asked, excitement in his tones. Do you like it? First name started, feeling her face slightly reddening. The doll made her feel oddly nervous. I love it. I knew you would, Clint stated, sounding giddy. Now, if you would, he started, turning around to pick up his 2 duffel bags. Help me with these? First name didn't respond at first. still inspecting the doll in awe. She broke out of a trance. Oh, yeah, hold on. She ran to the dining room table and set the doll upon its surface upright. It, oddly, didn't fall over. Huh. Clint started as first name, jogged back over to the main door to help her father with carrying the ridiculously heavy duffel bags. It fell over in the car. I guess the cold air made it stiffen up a bit. First name shrugged at her father, then took one of the duffel bags from him. They carried the bags back to the master's bedroom, where First Name's parents slept. But as she carried the bag to its destination, First Name hesitated and glanced at the door. From where she stood, it was facing her directly, and she felt like it was watching her. She shrugged it off and continued to help her father. I found that doll outside the hunting cabin, at the edge of the woods, Clan said. First Name found this to be odd. Are you sure it wasn't someone else's? First Name asked. I don't think so, Client responded. He thought not. 2. I opened my eyes wide as I awoke to a loud noise. I laid in my bed, listening in case my dad was cleaning the house or something. I looked around in my room, my eyes running over the windows, which let me know that it was daytime. I then glanced at my alarm clock, which read that it was 9 in the morning. I then allowed my eyes to fall into my dresser, where I had set the doll the day before. It hadn't changed, but it still somehow fascinated me. I had never seen a doll quite as detailed as that one. One could say it was almost unnatural. I closed my heavy eyes, giving into lethargy. That was until I heard a clicking sound and a gunshot from my parents' room. I felt my entire body stiffen, and my blood went still, and my ears were still ringing from the gunshot, which made it hard to hear anything. Why was there a gunshot in my parents' room that made no bang? It was another gunshot. Panic set in immediately, but I remained silent. I shot up from where I lay, then quietly got out of the bed. The ringing in my ears was beginning to fade. I got down on my hands and knees and crawled towards my bedroom door, as quiet as physically possible. I made it to my door and sat down beside it, my back to the wall. I reached up to the knob and locked my door quietly. Why the fuck won't you die? I heard my father scream out. I had never heard so much fear in his voice before. I tried to tell myself mentally that maybe I was still asleep and this was actually a nightmare. A very nasty, realistic nightmare. I'm not here to harm anyone. I heard a male voice that I have never heard before grumble out. His voice sounded like Castiel's from Supernatural, only slightly deeper, and his tone was dark. So, can you put that thing down? Why are you here? I heard my father yell out, defeat sounding very clear in his voice. I'm here to get back what's mine. I glanced at the doll on my dresser. What's he talking about? The doll. I want it back. There was silence. Well, where is it? My father did not reply. There was more silence. Wait! Don't go in the... My doorknob began to jiggle rapidly. I gasped loudly in response to the surprise. I immediately slapped a hand over my mouth. As soon as I gasped, the doorknob quit moving. Whoever it was hit me. I could just feel it. There was a tension-filled silence in the air. I tried to steady my breathing as best as possible, but I was still breathing rather fast. I could feel myself beginning to sweat. You wouldn't happen to have someone else in this house with you, would you, Clint? I heard the person say, right outside my door. My heart stopped at this. His voice made me realize just how close he really was. I then heard the person walk away from the door. I lowered my hand from my mouth and furrowed my brows in confusion. Did he give up? Just like that? No, there was something else being planned here. I could feel it in my gut. Outside my door, somewhere in the house, I heard what sounded like a door closing, and a strange cracking sound. Then, silence. First name! Come out of your room, now! My dad yelped out. Almost as soon as my dad yelled, I heard that exact same crackling sound coming from inside my closet, only much louder. It went on for another 30 seconds, I assumed, and then there were a few thuds. I was too in shock to do anything at the moment. Then there was nothing. Almost like whoever it was taunting me, drawing out the encounter. I shot my hand up to the knob of my bedroom door, my fingers on the lock, and then I had my closet door slowly creak open. Hesitantly, I let my eyes trail to my closet. The door was halfway open, and at the door stood a rather tall male that looked like an almost exact replica of the doll. Well, except for his coat and hat. But what caught my attention immediately were two glowing green orbs. His eyes. Well, hello there. He cooed at me, and in response, I screamed, bloody murderer. Herzlich willkommen zurück. Ich weiß, ich habe ein wenig schnell gelesen und mein englischer Akzent ist für viele Leute unverständlich. Aber ich hoffe, ihr konntet doch was draus lernen, beziehungsweise was verstehen. Ich habe das gemacht, weil ich diese Fanfiction, so würde ich es nennen, sehr, sehr schön fand. Die Person, die die gemacht hat, die werde ich auch unten verlinken. Wenn ihr nicht warten könnt, bis es die nächsten 2 Teile gibt, ich lese nämlich jetzt immer 2 Kapitel, dann checkt doch mal den ersten Link in der Beschreibung ab. Da habe ich euch nämlich die Geschichte verlinkt. Da könnt ihr auch nochmal das lesen, was ich gerade vorgelesen habe. Das waren nämlich die ersten 2 Kapitel. Und dann würde ich sagen, wir sehen uns im nächsten Video. Was auch immer das sein wird. Dann bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss. Na dann, viel Spaß. Genau, viel Spaß. I closed my heavy eyes, giving into lethargy. Lethargy. Oh Gott, ich hasse es. Ja, ich verkaufe mich jetzt selber. I tried. That looked like almost exact. Das kann ich nicht. A rather tall male. I could feel myself beginning to sweat. Ja, genau, das kam jetzt auch richtig scheiße, Mann. Gut, wo war ich? I tried to steady my breathing as best as possible.